Good evening, minor hockey families. My name is Simon Duong, and I'm the president of West Niagara Minor Hockey. I'm excited to announce the 2021 Return to Play framework and cost structure for our association. This will include Grimsby Minor Hockey, Lincoln Minor Hockey, and West Lincoln Minor Hockey. A couple years back when we formed this partnership, none of us would have forecasted this pandemic. I can tell you, with this partnership and with us working together, we're able to provide this program that can allow our kids to return back to play safely and continue on where perhaps being in a separate association, we might have not had them numbers. The board has done a great job of working together, focusing on the safety aspect of it, learning the protocols that we have to learn from public health, from our town, from Hockey Canada, and the LMHA. Traditional hockey this year is not what we're going to know it to be. So bear with me and let me explain to you how it may look for your child this year. Registration will open September 8th. And we're going to aim for October 1st to commence the first 2 weeks of development as per the LMHA mandate again. This year, the roster will consist of 9 players and 1 goalie. They'll only be allowed to play on 1 team and with no affiliation. Also, a couple programming changes for us this year due to the regulations changes. Hockey school, we will not be providing hockey school until further time where we can have contact, especially when kids are learning how to skate, and we have volunteers picking them up, helping them, working with them. So unfortunately, it's a big component of our program, but it'll be postponed until which time we can provide a proper programming for it. The IP and the minor novice program will continue on this year. We'll have cohorts of 50, which you're going to hear throughout this announcement, and we'll have 25 on the ice at a time, and they can scrimmage as well. We're also going to have 4 tiers. We're going to have Tier 1, a Tier 2, a Tier 3, and a Tier 4. Tier 1 will consist of AAA and AA players from last year's roster. Tier 2 will be single A players from last year's roster, and Tier 3 will be AE players from last year's roster as well. Now, our goal is to have 2 teams per division in each tier. So for example, we're going to start from novice all the way up to midget, providing that we have enough players for each category. We'll have a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 for each of those: novice, minor atom, major atom, now called your U12, 13, and such. We're going to have those 2 teams, and we're going to split them up into 2 groups, an A team and a B team evenly. There will be no tryouts. And this is, again, brought down by the OHF and Hockey Canada and the LMHA. There will be no tryouts. The coaches will be tasked to selecting the players, and the board will ensure that it's done with some integrity. I know there's going to be issues with this, and there's going to be some players that felt that they should have been picked that they didn't. I'm sorry. We're going to do the best we can, and no different than any other year. Okay. The teams are going to play an average of 1 home game and 1 away game per week. They're going to do an average of 1 shared practice with the A team with the B team, right? For example, if you have a U13 Tier 1 team, the Team A and Team B will practice together. Tier 4 will be house league and local league, and this will encompass all 3 associations from Grimsby Minor Hockey, Lincoln Minor Hockey, and West Lincoln Minor Hockey. We're going to be able to pool the players together, divide them into teams and cohorts of 50, so having 5 teams per division. They'll be playing 1 game a week and 1 practice every other week. The goal here is to try to get as many kids coming back and playing as possible. We'll be playing 3-on-3 this year to start out, right? With 9 players and 1 goalie, it makes sense to go 3-on-3 every 3rd shift. We may move on to 4-on-4 if as this evolves and the numbers grow and we're allowed to have more on a team, right? We're going to break this down into segments. We're going to have it in segments of 4 to 5 weeks at a time. That way, if we have 5 teams and they play a home and away, that could take up to 4 to 5 weeks to be complete. At that time, if any changes are made, we can adapt, we can change, and we can restructure as according to WNMHA regulations, of course. Okay. Player eligibility. NRP players will be allowed to return to the center they played last year. So for West Niagara, we had a player that played on a team but was from outside West Niagara, say from Pelham, they can return and play on the roster that they were last year. Otherwise, no other movements in the sense of an NRP. 3.5 players are allowed to remain with their last season's associations. So if a player didn't have a place to was not offered rep at another center last year and they came here, they'll still be allowed to stay for this year. Same thing, house league. If a player plays here last year, they can remain with their association this year. I know Dofasco and other centers may have folded and be getting a lot of calls to say, can a player come and play here? If you're not a resident of West Niagara and you did not play here last year, you will not be eligible to play in West Niagara this year. Only goalies may be rostered to multiple teams. Max of 2 teams is where we're going to look. This will help us if we have a shortage of goalies. Again, registration will open September 8th, and the budget is designed in a way where it's just fully cost recovery. We're getting hit hard this year without tournaments. Tournaments brought in over 100,000 for us, along with fundraising and the snack bar. If you can imagine, we had 17 players on a team. Now we're down to 10. So with those numbers, it's gonna really hurt our feasibility of keeping the cost down. Our programming is going to consist of players from all age groups participating in a $60 fundraiser. Unfortunately, we will not be able to provide a discount for multi-families. If there's a way we can get fundraising to sponsor a player to play, we'll certainly look into it. Please reach out to us if you have difficulties on this, but we don't have the means of having a revenue stream right now to subsidize these multi-player families, if you will. Right? Last year, I believe we subsidized something like $20,000. We just don't have the money into it. We're trying to run at a break even for this season. Okay. Registration fees for this year. U7, which is the IP program, $610 per player, 2 practices a week. U8 registration fees for minor novice will be $610 per player and 2 practices a week. U9, U10, U11, all the way up to U18 for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 will be $1,075 per player. We're going to be playing in the NDHL format. We may be partnering up with another center or 2 with cohorts of 50 still and a maximum of 5 teams. They're going to play, like I mentioned before, they're going to play 1 game at home and 1 away and 1 practice. Tier 4, which is house league, will be $650 per week, where they're going to average 1 game per week and a practice every other week. We hope this information gives you some confidence to register with us this year. We're looking to open up registration and see what those numbers are to know what teams we can ice. And again, things are evolving so fast, so please be patient with us. If things change, it's not that we're not prepared, it's we got to be prepared for change is what it is. Okay, so keep looking at our website and hope you guys have a great evening and look forward to seeing you all back at the rink. Thank you.